A British university staff union has declared white people are able to be black if they so wish.
UCU has a long history of enabling members to self-identify, whether that is being black, disabled, LBGT or women. At UCL's annual Congress and further and higher education conferences, policy on gender identity has been developed over many years.
Now, this isn't the first time the idea of so-called transracialism or racial fluidity has surfaced.
Can you change your race? If you ask Rachel Dolezal, the white woman who spent the past 7 years claiming she's a black woman, she'd probably say yes.
Race as a construct, again, as a fluid understanding.
Anthony Lennon has a reputation as a leading figure in British black theatre. The director was even awarded a grant reserved for people of colour. Fair enough.
Just one problem. Mr. Lennon's white.
And I asked him specifically, I said, you know, are you legally black? Are you legally white? Or are you biracial? Are you black or white? He says, I am biracial. And I said, is that what it is on your birth certificate? He did not answer.
Your gender is not determined by your chromosomes. Race is a social construct, not a matter of genetics. Jadu is simply taking that wisdom to its logical conclusion. Born a white male named Adam Wheeler, Jadu now identifies as a Filipina woman.
OK, I'm joined on the line now by commentator and transgender activist Stephanie Hayden. Very good evening to you, Stephanie. Now, these comments, as I understand, they were made as part of a statement about Transgender Awareness Day. First off, how do you feel about the two issues being conflated?
I think it's very important that the two lived experiences are treated distinctly. I am a transgender woman. I am not qualified to comment on race. How somebody identifies is primarily a matter for them. Whether or not that is recognised by the legal system is an entirely different question.
Do you have any sympathies? Do you see any similarities? I mean, is it as simple as an issue of somebody identifying the way they feel?
I believe it's about lived experiences. It's important, in my view, to draw a distinction between your lived experience and what the law and the state recognises. It's not for any other person to pass judgment on the lived experience of another. If, however, one wishes to access, for example, services provided for a specific group of people, that could then become an objective matter where the state steps in.
The last few years have seen a rise in awareness of trans issues. Some would say in place of gay issues. Is race fluidity the next battle to be fought?
I don't believe you can describe it as a battle. At the risk of repeating myself, it is about lived experience, and it's important that society recognises the lived experiences of the individual, respects the individual choices that a person may make, and most importantly of all, does not discriminate, does not harass, and does not intimidate. It's not for others to pass judgment.
I'm sure an awful lot of people would agree with you about not discriminating against people. I'm sure that these issues are very confusing also for a lot of people who are used to things being a certain way, and change can be difficult. How do you see these issues playing out in the future? Do you envisage, would you like a world where people have no fixed race or have no fixed gender, everybody can choose, or nobody has any of them?
I can only comment on the world as it is today, and in particular I can only really comment on my own experience as a transgender woman. Society is organised, rightly or wrongly, at the moment on a gender binary, and it is where you fit in that system. I feel more comfortable as a woman, but I don't self-identify as a woman. I'm legally recognised by the state as a woman. And although most of my transgender peers are not legally recognised as such by the state, nevertheless we have strong Equality Act laws in the UK which provide a high degree of protection and rights to access services which are designed, in my particular case, for women. And it is important that those rights are recognised, acknowledged, and not confused with an entirely different debate, which is about who, in the case of transgender people, is recognised legally as male or female.
Yeah, and it is a huge debate, and we'll have to arrange something like that to discuss it, because it's a significant one, and one that we need to have. Many thanks, Stephanie Hayden, my guest commentator, transgender activist. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh.
I'm asking the average man in the street what he knows about...
I say, you're not Esther Ranson, are you?
No, I'm afraid I'm not.
Oh, what a pity. I've got great admiration for her, you know. I'm so impressed by her intelligence. The way she rails against the bureaucrats and the establishment. The way she takes up the sword in defence of the little man. Apart from that, you know, not many people know that she's got a great pair of knuckles.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not Esther Ranson, but I would like to know what you know about coupling rods, distributor shafts and big ends. And cams.
Ooh, coming knickers.
And rear chassis.
Rear chassis, bounce up and down. Ooh, boom, jelly on the plate. Come here. No, don't leave me.